Gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis. What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, is it not?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. He looked good, Coach.
Oh, try it. Thank you.
Welcome to Off the Air on a Tuesday here in the Quad Cities. It is Tuesday, April 1st. It is April Fool's, one of my favorite days of the year, and I'll explain why throughout the show. But hopefully everyone's behaving themselves so far today. Be nice to people. Make sure your April Fool's jokes are funny, not mean, although I've probably done a few mean ones in my day. So we want to thank everybody for watching on YouTube right now. If you're watching live on YouTube, we appreciate that. Please subscribe. We are getting ever so close to 1,000 subscribers, up over 900 subscribers and doing well. So we thank everyone who has subscribed. If you have, make sure you tell a friend or two or 10 or 30 or 100 about what we're doing here in the Quad Cities every single day at 10 o'clock off the air with Matt Randazzo. We are also live on X as well. And as I say it every day, I don't expect people to watch, but listen, there's a podcast form as well. I don't blame you. I wouldn't want to look at me for 2 hours either, but you can check us out on all the podcasting platforms as well. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, Podbean, you name it, we're out there. Check us out on all the podcasting platforms as well. I'm super excited about today's show. Coming up in a matter of moments, we're going to talk Iowa basketball with a former Hawkeye player and the president of the National I Club, Kent McCausland, joins us in just a little bit. Also, later in hour one, really excited to catch back up with a guy I covered a lot in high school, Tytan Anderson. Just finished up a fantastic career in the Valley at Northern Iowa, was first team All-Valley this past season. He's got a bright future ahead of him as well. So we'll catch up with Tytan Anderson coming up later in hour number one. And in hour two, Julian Vandervelde is by because Julian is back on stage. He's performing this weekend and next weekend. We're going to talk to him about that. We'll also talk to him about April Fools and this thing that they're doing at Coastal Carolina where they're giving away free concessions at every football game this season, the 2025 season, free concessions. So Julian has an opinion on that. So Julian Vandervelde in hour number two of the show. Yesterday, great show as well. Cooper Koch, the former Hawkeye that's now Hawkeye again, if that makes any sense when it comes to the world of the transfer portal. But Cooper Koch is a Hawkeye again. He was on the show yesterday. Also, Iowa State standout Darian Porter, who's getting ready for the NFL draft, should be hearing his name early in the NFL draft, was also on yesterday. And of course, it was Monday. So Pat Anger was with us each and every Monday. So a fun show yesterday. Go check that one out. But we start today's show talking about something we've been talking a lot about, a new era in Iowa basketball. So I had a friend tell me about a friend, and it leads to this guy joining us on the show, former Hawkeye Kent McCausland. Kent, I appreciate you doing this. You're busy. You actually have a job. You're not unemployed like myself doing a show in their loft. So I appreciate you taking the time to do this.
Well, thank you for having me. And the midlife crisis hasn't hit yet, so I'm not doing a podcast out of my basement, but certainly working away here. PDCM insurance. So I call myself the new M, and my dad was always the M in PDCM, but I'm the new M, and certainly working away here in Waterloo, Iowa.
I love it. I love it. I want to talk to you a little bit about your dad later on in the interview, but I want to start with Iowa basketball because it's been a busy time, and you're still very involved with the I Club as well, the National I Club, a president of the National I Club. But more than that, you're a former Hawkeye. You're a former player. It was a weird year. Last week, Ben McCollum named as the head coach of the University of Iowa. Your thoughts of Ben McCollum taking over at your alma mater?
Yeah, I think, first, I'm a Dr. Tom guy, right? So first let's celebrate what Fran McCaffrey did for this program and pull it out of the depths of pretty low point, not even, poor attendance, not even really being able to recruit at any kind of level that you need to in the Big Ten. And and pulled them out of a really tough situation where Coach McCaffrey got this team to be better and better every year. And you look back and the first year you make the NIT. Well, then the next year you make the Final Four of the NIT. Well, then the next year you make the play-in game. The next year you make the NCAA, tournament instead of having to do the play-in. And then, fairly steady, consistent success. And just never had that run that I think we all hoped for, especially when they were a 2 seed or when they won the Big Ten tournament championship and then got to be what I thought was a pretty horrible seed at a 5, just like they did to Michigan this year. They gave them a 5 because they already had them slotted in, which I thought, kind of unfair to put a Big Ten champ in that situation. So celebrate Fran and everything that he did and his staff. And then looking forward, I'm excited because Coach McCollum, as you look at his record and what he's done, it doesn't matter what level necessarily that you always win at. It's, can you get guys to buy into your culture? Can you get guys to buy in and play their butts off? And I think that's what you want. And he's proven he can do that. If you can even compare it to a Bo Ryan who won at Wisconsin Platteville for many, many years and then moved on to Wisconsin, he was still able to bring that culture along and scream at the officials. That was a Bo Ryan deal. But anyway, that's beside the point. Coach McCollum, I think, has that aptitude. And I just love his excitement for being a Hawk. I mean, I think that is really going to be something that is cool for old Letterman like me, for the fans, that he knows Iowa basketball, grew up. And I love that picture, and I reposted it on X, of he and Dr. Tom at the Storm Lake camp. And I used to work the Storm Lake camp. We'd drive up and go there, hang out there for a couple of days and see the kids and work out. So I love that he's a Hawk at heart, and he's got that history. I think that's going to serve him well, and I think it's fun for the fans and us Lettermen.
Kent, I looked at the press conference, and you could hit a home run at a press conference. I thought he hit a grand slam. Like, I thought he just killed it. I don't want to, because I'm a little younger than you, but we're both getting old. But I remember your group so well. I was like 3-4 years younger, so I was in high school watching you guys do what you do. And when he started talking about players that weren't, and I love Chris Street, obviously, and there's the ones that you're going to hit on. But when he pulls out Montier Glasper and other names from the past that you love, you could tell he was a Hawkeye. Hearing that kind of stuff, and you're a Hawkeye, and you're a former player, that had to check a box for you right away when you heard his press conference and those kind of things.
Yeah, I think it's going to fall off of him. He's going to know a lot of players. He's going to know the history of Iowa basketball just because it's going to just be out of his head. He's just going to know it. Whereas I think Coach McCaffrey came in and really tried to embrace the Chris Street story, embrace the Kenny Arnold story, embraced us as Lettermen. And I think he was very positive from that perspective that we lost a little bit. And I think the Lettermen are going to respond to that. I think the fans are going to respond to that. And he wants it to be that way. He wants that to be part of the story that he creates. And we'll see, how he does it as we move forward. If I gave any advice, it'd be, hey, it's your program. You run with it, Coach. This is your, you have to do what you have to do to go out and win games and feel good about your staff, your players, the culture you create, the weightlifting routine. I mean, everything. You just want him to come in and run his own show. And I think he'll do that.
You look at him coming in. Let's talk X's and O's a little bit. What did you see from him at Drake? I know people from the outside looking in were right away like, oh, it's a slower pace. And when you do your homework, you realize he scored a lot of points when he was at Northwest Missouri State. But his X's and O's and the way he coaches, National Coach of the Year now, after the performance that he did and the job that he did at Drake. What do you see about his teams when it comes to on the floor and the actual basketball itself?
Yeah. So what I see is, one, you've got Bennett Sturtz, and I think hopefully he's coming, to Iowa City. And I think, most people think that's going to happen. But when you watch those Drake teams, he had complete control over what was happening on the floor. And so I think when you're an extension of the coach, having that point guard cures a lot of problems. And I think you'll look back in time, Dr. Tom, when he had Andre Woolridge and Dean Oliver, pretty good teams, because you got two pretty good point guards. So when you have a point guard, you got a lot of problems solved because you're going to get good shots, you're going to get good opportunities every time down the floor. And we even listened to Coach McCollum, and it almost mirrored exactly what Dr. Tom used to talk about. Two very different styles. Dr. Tom wanted to run, drop back, play zone. He wanted to run again. He wanted to press. He wanted to drop back and play zone. McCollum looks like he wants to be maybe a little more deliberate, but still have the opportunity to score. So if he's got guys that can shoot, I think he's going to score some points, but he wants to drop back and play really tough man-to-man defense. Now, I don't know everything about his system and how he likes to do it, but when at his press conference, he talked about scoring sets up good defense. When you take bad shots and you have long rebounds, that leads to runouts for the opponent. So everybody watches the Final Four happens. If you get stops, you get opportunities to score off of transition. But when you're making buckets, for Dr. Tom, it sets up the press, sets up the zone, sets up everything. When you're not scoring, you're going to give up transition buckets. And so I think Coach McCollum's the same way. Run your offense, have guys cutting, have guys slashing. You don't have to have 7-footers all over the place, but you got to be able to run your stuff, put the ball in the hole. Now you set up your defense because of good offense.
Kent McCausland, former Hawkeye, joining us right now and Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Kent, you look at this era that we're in with the transfer portal. You can't look ahead to next year yet and know who's actually there, because you mentioned Bennett Sturts, I think's there, pretty sure. Cooper Koch comes back yesterday, which I'm really excited about, and I know that your former teammate J.R. Koch is pretty excited about as well. But it's a weird era. Is this weird as a former player that it's going to be a month before you even know who's on the team next year? Yes, there was a coaching change, but it's everywhere in college basketball where you don't know who's on your team from one year to the next. I guess your thoughts on the portal era and what it's done maybe to college basketball.
Yeah, I don't know if we have enough time on the show to get into everything that goes into the portal, but I tell you, as a former letterman, and I've talked to other people my age that played at Iowa or played in college, we're talking about $2 and $3 million numbers being thrown around for college kids to go play college basketball. The impact of that in the locker room, first of all, I think it's dramatic. I think you're going to have some guys making $2 million, another guy making $100,000. Now, if that guy making $2 million is somebody you still want to go fight for, as a team and as a player, I think it's important as coaches, you're going to create a culture that makes sense in your locker room, but you got guys of varying salaries, if you will, almost like an NBA locker room. So I think the world is going to change. There's no doubt about it. The coaching style is going to change. Can you get everybody to buy in? And is that number one guy that's getting paid the most, is he the hardest worker? Does he get there early? Does he stay late? Do you want to go to war with that guy? If Andre Woolridge would have gotten paid $2 million, I still would have gone to war for Andre Woolridge because I loved playing with Andre Woolridge. If you have somebody you don't believe in, well, then now you're really trying to put together a team and your best guy and your stud that you're paying a lot. If they're not doing the work, I think your team's going to struggle and fall apart. So I think there's that team dynamic. The NIL piece, all this stuff, it's, who knows what that's going to be in 5 years? Is it going to change? I don't know. But today, right now, a lot of money been thrown around, and you see the impact, I think, on kids like a Coleman Hawkins who went to Kansas State. He's bawling in the press conference or in the locker room after his last loss because he didn't handle that pressure real well, and he admitted it. That's a big deal, for a kid. He took the money, he went to Kansas State, and now didn't deliver. That's tough. Not as big a deal when you're just getting a scholarship, just like everybody else. So money changes things. It changes people's attitudes toward you, I think. And it will have an impact. Now, what it means and going forward, I think at this point, you just have to accept it and move on and try to play within the rules as best you can as they're currently constructed, right? So if that's what it's going to take to get some players and get a good solid team, I think everybody else is doing it. You almost have to fall in line and try to do the best you can.
That's the crazy part, is because the rules that are constructed right now, there really aren't too many, which makes it, I think some regulation to it has to happen eventually. Can you let your mind wander to yourself getting paid and what that would have been like for you? And also just maybe the leaner years where you weren't playing a lot. If you think about it, early in your career, back in your day, you didn't play maybe a ton when you got there, and you always look grass is greener on the other side instead of staying, working, earning, and having a really good career. And then you got a knucklehead like Settles. He'd be a millionaire right now because he played 12 years, 15 years. I mean, he would have made it a career. So can you let your mind wander to what it would have been like in your day?
I have, a little bit, and we kind of laugh and talk about it. But I led the country in 3-point field goal percentage after my sophomore year. To your point, after I redshirted 1 year, second year didn't play a whole lot, probably the 11th guy on the team, got some garbage time, that kind of thing. Okay. But tried to prove yourself. And then the following year, I'm starting with Andre and Ryan Bowen and J.R. Koch, Guy Rucker, Daryl Moore, really fun team, and a really good team. And I think we got stuck with an 8-9 seed in that and had to play Kentucky in the second round. So in my opinion, we're easily a Sweet 16 team, but we're very good together. But you lead the country in 3-point field goal percentage. Are you telling me that there wouldn't have been 10 teams that have been really interested in, hey, if we add a shooter to the group that we got, that's going to be, X, Y, Z. And what dollar figure is it worth in today's? Who knows? I'm not even going to go, guess, but it'd be hundreds of thousands of dollars. I mean, it's crazy. So, and when I think back, I wasn't that smart. I'm just a goofy kid in University of Iowa. I just wanted to, play hard and have fun and go to school and all that. So to have that kind of money, you would need help, I think, from parents, aunts and uncles, good family members that could help out. And make sure that you're making the right choices. Otherwise, you could blow that money pretty fast. I'm not saying I would have, but man, you hand a bunch of money to a kid.
Yeah.
Good luck, right?
No, absolutely. Kent, you look at it too, because you talk about your teammates, and these are guys you played with forever. And that's not the case maybe anymore moving forward because of the NIL and isn't that part of it too? Because the bonds you developed with these guys, I'm sure, are still your lifelong friends, except for Jess, who you probably try to distance yourself from, which is understandable. No, I'm kidding. But those guys, right. Those are relationships that you won't develop these days now because you move so much, right?
I think that's true. I think there's going to be some movement. I think that's really hard as a coach. You have to both coach your guys hard and know that you got to recruit them at the end of the year. That's really an interesting, thought and discussion of in your own mind of how am I going to keep this kid, but how am I going to get him to set a screen harder? I might have to go yell at him, and get after it a little bit and have him play harder. That's tough to do. And I think, again, it comes back to coaching. How can you walk that line and be a great coach in college? I think it's going to be different. And I think that's why a Cooper Koch or we'll see, with other players, but why players like to come back is because they do want that experience. They do want that continuity. They already know the city of Iowa City. They love it. They want to be part of the fabric of it. And so as they look at it, I think there is a little bit of that. Hey, yeah, you want to get into understand what your marketability is by going into the portal. That's probably the first thing as a coach, you don't want all your players to do is all jump into the portal, because now they know exactly what their market value is, or perceived market value is. But hopefully you get, hey, can you come back? We'll get you this, and then let's get our team back together and go win some games. So I think there's a little bit of that selling point of trying to keep a core together. But to your point, sometimes it's not going to work that way, and people are going to go. And I don't think we should fault any of Iowa players for doing that, especially in this situation. To me, and you mentioned Cooper Hawk and then not a Hawk, and to me, he was always a Hawk until he's not. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Going into the portal and checking, that's the new name of the game. And I think we're all going to have to get used to it, even though it doesn't feel great. But that's the new normal, is that you should go into the portal. You should check your marketability. Peyton Sanford should go into the combine last year and find out, where he is in the NBA draft. Hey, why not a bunch of guys go do it? They can always come back. What's wrong with preparing for that combine, getting NBA coaching, and then coming back? That's all positive to me. Now, to some people, it might be like, well, he tested and he wanted to leave and get out of here. No, he didn't. Maybe he just wants to be a better basketball player and get some good coaching from NBA, scouts, NBA coaches, look at some new techniques in screening and basketball and all the different things that you get when you go to this combine and you watch these guys play. It's an opportunity to get better. And that's how I look at it.
People who criticize those kids, you'd have to flip it and say, then you better never interned where you work, or you better never job shadowed where you work. I mean, it's just getting experience that they want to eventually do as they move forward. Kent McCausland, nice enough to join us right here and Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. A few more for you. You look at Carver Hawkeye Arena, Kent, and I'm sure you can go back to this game and that game. And well, for you, almost all the games, that place was rocking and awesome. What was it like as a former player to see these past few seasons, and especially this season? And then how do you get fans back to Carver Hawkeye? And I know winning cures a lot and all of those kind of things, but I'll also say Fran's teams were entertaining and competitive, and that was a likable team last year, and people weren't there. So I know while winning helps, how would you get people back to Carver Hawkeye Arena once again for men's basketball?
Yeah, I think that's $1 million question, right? I mean, I think there's some improvements you could make to Carver. Carver is a little ancient in the world of, upgrades and different things. Obviously, the practice gym was put in, et cetera. But there's some things that could be done to create a really good game atmosphere. It seems like at every timeout there's a stoppage and or a Vandenberg is on and we have a new Delta dental commercial and all the different things that kind of happen that kind of slow the game down at times. So I think there's a little bit of that you could do, but I don't know that drives people to come to the game. You come to the game to support the kids and the coach and the staff and go win games. So I think, for whatever reason, I think it just started to fall off under Coach McCaffrey. And I think Coach wanted more support, from an NIL perspective. I mean, I think he's made that pretty clear. And he thinks, hey, I could have won if we had, more support from that perspective. He's probably not wrong, but I don't know that it brings feet into Carver and butts in the seats. So when you don't like something or you don't agree with something, you usually vote with your feet, I call it. So as soon as Kinnick prices are too high, people will stop going to football games. Well, people aren't stopping to go into football games. They still come and support and tailgate. It's a great experience. So as I look at that, I just say, okay, I think the coaching change, I hope, is a positive one. Again, I thank Fran for everything he did, and they're terrific people. Now it's kind of moving forward, and can the new coach and the new staff, I think, just excite people and get them to come check it out. I think that's really all it is. It's just you got to get people excited. We look at what Caitlin Clark did for women's basketball, just got people excited. Then all of a sudden you follow a Sydney O'Falter and you follow Aaliyah Guyton as she came in as a freshman. You start to understand these players and you just want to go support them and root for them. So, I don't think it's magical. I think winning cures a lot of problems, but I think also just new blood coming in and a fresh coach is probably going to put a lot of people in those seats.
You were on the last Sweet 16 team, which is cool because you were part of that Sweet 16 team, but it wasn't like 2-3 years ago. I mean, we're going back a ways. Is it weird to still sit here now in 2025 and think the last time Iowa went to the Sweet 16, and I'm with you, Fran accomplished so much. In fact, I got to a point where if you looked at his body of work as a coach, he's probably still the coach. It's just now it's a big business and there's other factors that go into decisions and all of that. But is it weird to sit back and now you're not young? No, don't want to age you, but it is kind of weird, cool, but kind of weird that you're the last Sweet 16 team at the University of Iowa.
It is 1999. That's a long time ago. So I would agree. I really don't want that moniker attached to me anymore. And neither does Jess Settles. And Jess and I have joked. He said, "Hey, next time we go to the Final Four, spare no expense. We're going to go have a great time. We're going to go do it." Right. And so we've made that pact with each other. My dad, he passed away a couple years ago. He went to the 1980 Final Four. Lute Olson, Ronnie Lester, Kenny Arnold, Vince Brookins, Craftsison and Waite, right? Here, the great fun team, Philadelphia. But that was the last time they went to the Final Four. And my dad passed away before they ever went to another Final Four. And that, I don't think he ever thought that was a possibility. certainly not a Sweet 16. So I think I want these kids to do it, more than anyone. I want them to make a run as far as they can. And so the tournament is weird. I always do, preface that. The tournament is odd. It's not always chalk like we've seen this year. I think that's due a little bit to the NIL perspective of dollars coming in and being able to buy the best players. But it's not always that way. Sometimes you just get a bad matchup. And a few years back, Oregon was just a bad matchup for a really good Iowa basketball team. So yeah, I don't want this to be I'd rather we hurry up and go a bunch more times. I'm proud of what we did. I'm proud of what we did for Coach Davis and our team, that year, but certainly don't want it to be the last.
Kent, before I let you go, you mentioned your dad. I know he passed away a few years ago. Boy, and I told you before we started, that was like my growing up is listening to Mac McCausland, and I turn it on and with Larry Morgan and Mac McCausland, and that was my childhood. First, I just want to let you know that he was as good as they get, and people know that, but you have that in you. Have you ever thought of following? You're the new M in the
Right.
Insurance company. Have you ever thought about going down this line and giving great perspective of basketball?
I love talking about Iowa basketball. I can tell you that. My dad always wanted me to be a coach. He thought I could be a good coach, and I'm dabbling a little bit in that world with my son who's 16, and we'll do some travel ball and help in that situation. So I've never really said, hey, I want to be a color man on TV. I enjoy doing this with you. I do Black and Gold Breakdown with Rob Brooks and Kevin Lehman. It's a show that's on MediaCom.
Yeah.
So for the few subscribers that still have MediaCom out there, we're on at 6:30 on Wednesday nights. So that's fun. I kind of get a little fix there and get to talk hoops. I love talking Iowa basketball and looking at, hey, the tournament and what's happening. My dad was beyond a junkie, like beyond basketball junkie. I mean, this guy would, subscribe to the college package. And this is for, years ago, college package. And he would sit and watch, Bradley versus, whoever in the preseason. And then like, ooh, I really like this one kid for Bradley. He did this and did that. And then he'd watch the Missouri Valley tournament. And he'd remember that. He'd put it all together. I mean, he'd watch hundreds and hundreds of games. He just loved to watch and soak it all in. So I don't know that I have the talent that he had from that perspective to be able to talk and do the color commentary. But you're not unlike a lot of people that reach out to me on Twitter whenever I mention chips and salsa or I mention my dad. There's people that jump on it and they just love it because they grew up as I did, just watching, hey, Jay, my son, we had 3 channels on TV. Did you know that? Hey, we all used to watch college basketball and watch Iowa hoops because there was only 3 channels. And then there was, 14 channels and then there was 26 channels. And it's tough to even get them to have that go through their brain. But that's what it was. I mean, it was just Mac and Larry, right? For many, many years. And so he was terrific at it. Miss him. And for Hawks, it's always chips and salsa time, but it's always nice to have it roll up with a W as well.
Absolutely. I will leave you with this. I remember getting into the business and going to cover Hawkeye my first year up there covering games, and your dad walked past me, and I was like a fanboy for a second. I was like, oh, Mr. McCausland, I grew up watching it. He was as nice as could be to me, but it was and I did the same thing with Bob Brooks as well, because those are the guys that when Bob walked in the media room and I heard his deep voice, I turned to my buddy, I was like, Bob Brooks is here. This is awesome. So he was awesome, and I'm sure he was just as good of a dad as he was a color analyst for basketball, and that's a beautiful thing. And I appreciate you doing this. So I'm probably going to bug you again. Jess gave me your number, and now it's a slippery slope. You go right down, but I appreciate you doing this. I appreciate your perspective, and we'll catch up again real soon.
Sounds good, Matt. I appreciate you having me on, and you do a great job. Fun show, so keep it going.
Awesome. Thank you, Ken. I appreciate it. That is Kent McCausland, former Hawkeye, president of the I Club right now, the National I Club, and of course, great perspective on what's going on with Iowa basketball when it comes to Fran McCaffrey and what he left behind. Still leaves as the all-time winningest coach, but also a new perspective of what goes on with Ben McCollum as well. We're just getting warmed up here on Off the Air on a Tuesday. Coming up, we go from Hawkeyes to Panthers. We're joined by former North Scott standout and former Northern Iowa standout. Just wrapped up a fantastic career. Tytan Anderson is straight ahead right here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Quad Cities, it's time to bring the noise. Saturday night, April 12th, the Steamwheelers take on the Barnstormers in a hard-hitting Union Night showdown. We're honoring area Union members with a night of football action and ice-cold beers for only $1. Union members receive $5 off ticket thanks to Tri-City Building Trades Council and Union Locals 91, 25, and 145. Round up your crew and come cheer on the Wheelers. Get your tickets at steamwheelersfootball.com/tickets. And we'll see you on April 12th.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities. March Madness winding down, and it's been a great season. A great season of high school basketball, great season on the college level as well, including in Cedar Falls where the Panthers had a good year led by a familiar face. Joining us now is the senior star for the Panthers, now former Panther, I guess, Tytan Anderson, joining us now, of course, North Scott product. First and foremost, Tytan, thank you so much for doing this. It feels like yesterday you were just finishing up a North Scott, so either I'm getting older or you're getting older. It flies by, doesn't it?
It flies by like crazy.
No, I appreciate you doing this, and we're going to talk about those North Scott days here in just a second, but I wanted to start with with what just got done. You had a special 5 seasons in Cedar Falls, and now we're going to talk a lot about it. But now that it's all said and done, have you had a couple days to sit back and look at the body of work that you left in Cedar Falls? It's impressive.
Yeah. I mean, I look back all the time. Every day I feel like it's a home. It's been great, and I just love it here so much.
So this past season, you averaged nearly 16 points a game, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. When it comes to a final season of college basketball and 20 wins on the season as well, you almost can't script it much better. I mean, obviously you probably want more wins and all that kind of stuff, but talk about that final season, because that was a fantastic way for you to finish your college career.
Yeah, I feel like anytime you reach season, the thing that you got to really remember is that the game is fun, and you got to keep it as fun as possible. And I feel like that had to do with a lot of the success, is just going out there with some of my best friends that I've made, and just playing hard and having fun.
You look at your senior season, but just your career in general, Tytan, and it's been a special run in Cedar Falls. What made that place the right place for you? First couple of years, you didn't play a ton, but what made it right for you to stay there and to now leave there? We're going to talk about some of your career stats here in a second. Leaving there as one of the best players in Northern Iowa history.
Yeah, I mean, what kept me there was just knowing that I had great role models before me. Like I had great teammates my freshman, sophomore year that played over me, but I mean, they taught me so much, and the coaching staff believed in me from day one, and it's always felt like a family. So I felt as though that I had to stay true to my coach and true to my game.
It's funny, Tytan, because in today's day of college basketball, you probably could have left twice. You know, some people that don't get to step on the floor right away would have looked for greener grass elsewhere. And then maybe the flip side of it, some guys might have left Northern Iowa before last season and maybe cashed in, if you will. So you had both spectrums, both ends of it, and you stayed true to them. You talked about it in a little bit, but you stayed true to Northern Iowa. Why is that?
Man, they stayed true to me when I wasn't the player I am today. I mean, I've obviously gotten better and better and better, but they saw something in me that they knew that I was gonna become better and better, and I was gonna work like crazy to get there. So just really trusting them and just staying true to what I believe in.
You look at that staff and that head coach. How important are they to you? Because you just talked about believing in you. They did from the jump. They offered you, they wanted you to come there, and then they stayed true to you. What is it about that staff? And it's a staff that's been there for a while, which I think is good in this day and age of college basketball. It's not always the case. Talk about that staff that now you're leaving, but talk about the staff that played a big role in your life.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Jake, obviously that man's been everything and better than everything. I mean, he's been real true. He's always been straight up front. He's always honest. I mean, he's changed my life, and I wouldn't be where I am without him. And then Coach Tuttle, I mean, just being a great player before me and just striving to be better than him. I mean, that's a hard task, but I mean, it's a lot of fun to just poke fun with him if I break one of his records, or if I'm playing better than he is, or just back and forth with him. But yeah, and then Coach PJ, Coach Hogan, who he's the one who started recruiting me from a freshman year. So I mean, all these guys have been great, and I can't appreciate them enough.
Yeah, you look at it, Tytan, and I remember you so much at North Scott, and you go to Northern Iowa, and we've been watching and paying attention, but where have you grown? Where have you developed when you look back at that skinny little kid maybe at North Scott and the man I'm talking with now? How have you grown up on the basketball court and then maybe off the basketball court as well?
I would say on the basketball court, I mean, I just keep working on my craft and just trying to keep getting better. But I would say also on the court is just being a better leader, and that started with Coach Buddy, where if I wasn't being a good leader, I wasn't being who I am, is what he calls it, then then he'll take me out, or he'll call me out during whatever. So I mean, I feel like that there's a lot of Coach Buddy and Coach Jake that really just made my coaching or my days of who have been my coach way better.
You were always and I don't say this in a negative way, but you're always a responsible, fantastic young man to deal with. But you're a high school kid, and now you're a grown man. And you look at those 5 years, and with trials and tribulations, I think brings maturity. But talk to me about Tytan Anderson, the man now, because you've grown up not just on the basketball court, but I'm sure as a man, as a leader as well.
Yeah, definitely. As a leader, it's been great. Just with the young guys coming in, they look up to me. They look up to what I've done, and then they've also just appreciated just me being hard on them, or me being straight up honest if they got to bring it during practice, or if they got to do better. Like it's forming great relationships, and I feel like it's gone really well.
Okay, so let me read some numbers, because if I were you, I'd have these numbers posted everywhere, but you're not nearly as self-centered, obviously, as I am. But, hey, you leave there 10th all-time in scoring, I believe, with 1,383 points, 4th all-time in rebounding with 800 rebounds. To leave those kind of marks there. And you look at that list, Tytan, and it's not just like Joe Schmo's up and down the line. You know the history of Northern Iowa basketball. To be with those guys on that list, and they're forever. I mean, what does that mean to you, because you've left an impact on this program?
It means everything. I mean, just knowing that I'm making my family proud. I'm giving my brother something to look up to, something to strive for. It just really it really makes me happy, and I couldn't be more grateful.
I want to talk about this season for a second, because you look at what you guys did, 14-6 in the Valley, and always a good conference, 20 victories, playing in postseason, nice run throughout the regular season as well. You wanted to leave your mark by winning as well, and you did that your senior season. Kind of talk about that, because that's a great league. Finishing third in the Valley, 14-6, nothing to be disappointed about.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we want to win more games, but looking back on it, it was a good season. We had a lot of injuries, that we had to go through, and we had to persevere through it. So it was a tough, but a lot telling about the guys that we have and the coaching staff that we have.
I want to talk to you about buzzer beaters, because you've got that knack, man. I mean, to have one really good one in your career that everybody's going to remember is good. So this year, was it Illinois State or Bradley? Was it Bradley?
It was Illinois State.
Illinois State, a great one there to win on the road. But I go back, and you did that I remember it was early when I started this show, and I showed it on the show, and I said, guys, you've seen nothing yet, because I believe I went back and found the video of North Scott. What's a better buzzer beater? The one on the road in the Valley to give yourself a huge victory in college, or to send your team? Was it to send your team to state back in the, was it send your team to state your senior year? Which one's better, Ty? You're going to pick one.
I would say the Waterloo West one, just because it was to send my team to state. It extended our season, and yeah, it was a way better one for sure.
Take me back to those days, because they weren't that long ago, although they feel like they were. And you mentioned Seamus several times already. It was fun. I always joke, if I had a dime for every time I said Tytan Anderson's name, I could actually retire instead of doing a show in my upstairs. What were those years like at North Scott with that staff, with your guys? Those, I know that you and I was great, but those got to be some of the best times of your life as well.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I had so many friends on that team. I had lifelong friends on that team, and then the coaching staff was great. I mean, Coach Buddy was hard on me. My teammates, if I wasn't playing good, then they would poke fun and do all that. So I mean, it was always it was a fun locker room. It was always good vibes, and everybody competed. There was never an ego, or never a practice where there was bad attitudes. It brought a lot of joy to the game.
I know that your dad's still an assistant at the high school, isn't he?
Yeah, he just retired. Actually, this was his last year.
Okay, so he has retired, but I know your dad could ball as well. I'm assuming growing up, you guys played and spent plenty of time in a gym together. You're better than Dad now, aren't you?
Yeah, no doubt.
When were you better than Dad? Was there a point, an age where you're like, I'm starting to get the old guy. Like I think I might be better.
I don't know. That's tough. That's up for debate because he'll tell you one thing, but I'm sure I'll tell you another. I would say about 2 or 3 years ago.
To have an upbringing like that and a dad like that, not just a basketball guy, because that helps a ton, but a guy that had your back the whole time. I know you guys are close. What did that mean to you? Not just the basketball side of things, but the relationship, the father-son relationship that you had.
Yeah, I mean, there was really nothing that could compare to that. That was some of the best times of my life, is just having him right by my side, cheering louder than anybody else, and having more emotion than even me on the court, and that's hard to do. But he wishes he was out there, and I feel like he's taught me so much and done so much for me that it just made it so much more special.
I got 4 young boys, and I feel like I'm probably their biggest cheerleader, but I can guarantee you I'm their biggest critic, and they can tell you that. Was Dad also the biggest critic growing up a little bit as well?
I would say growing up, yeah, but once I reached that age where it was more competitive and I was getting better and stuff like that, it was never critiquing or anything. It was always positive, and he's always super positive. And that's one thing that everybody will tell you, is that even when things aren't going good, he's always going to be clapping, having energy, and that's not win or lose. That's just how he is, because he has a lot of passion. He coaches with a lot of passion.
Tytan Anderson from North Scott and Northern Iowa joining us right now on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Tytan, the future, and I've gotten to, and I'm lucky to have covered so many great basketball players from out of the Quad Cities, and I've gotten to know them. I've watched journeys. I've watched Chase and Randall's journey, and I've watched, DJ Carton's journey, Joe Wieskamp's. Everybody's is different. Ethan Haps, Nicholas Baer. We can go on and on. Great area of high school basketball that went to college and moved on from that. Are you ready to start your journey of professional basketball, not knowing what it's going to be about, but just enjoying the ride as you go?
Yeah, I am. I love this game. And I love the relationships that I make along the way. And I don't think there's anything better.
How do you prepare for that journey? Because there is the great unknown. Are you just in the gym doing what you do and getting better and better every day and preparing for what's next?
Yeah, on working out, lifting, and then watching some film from the season, and just keep on getting better. I mean, there's not much to do right now in terms of knowing where I'm going to be, but yeah, I'm going to do what I've been doing my whole life, and that's just keep working hard and being who I am.
Love it. I love it. Tytan, a question about maybe a coach you played against, because everybody in the state of Iowa is talking about Ben McCollum, the new head basketball coach at Iowa, and you played against him a couple times. Obviously, you just played against him, but what did you see, maybe in him on the sidelines, but also his teams? And you know what a well-coached team is. Were you impressed, or your thoughts of Ben McCollum when you played them twice this season?
Yeah, I was very impressed with them. I mean, they came in, took care of business day in and day out. I mean, that's what it looked like, and that's what it felt like. It's just, if we were going to get them, we were going to have to get them, and leave no doubt about it. So, I mean, they were business. They were business for sure, and a very disciplined team. So I'll give him a lot of credit, and it was awesome what he was able to do this year.
Tytan, did you fill out a bracket this year? And how does Tytan Anderson's bracket look as we get to the Final Four?
I did fill out a bracket, but it's not looking too good right now. I only have 2 left in the Final Four.
That's okay. Half is okay. Looking at that Final Four, number one seeds for the first time in a long time, do you have a prediction of who plays in the national championship game and then who cuts down the nets?
I think it's Florida and Duke they're on the opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got Florida and Duke. So I got Florida winning it though.
Okay. Little Gators at the end. I want to have some fun questions with you. So I came up with a few fun questions, maybe a little to do about life and basketball and everything as well. I think I probably spoiled it in the interview early, but what's the best high school memory at North Scott?
I would say the buzzer beater that sent my team to state, just because I was watching the video, and the best part is when my dad and Coach Buddy are giving more excitement, more energy than anybody else.
Craziest play I've ever seen. I remember Celia Palermo was covering it for us up in Cedar Rapids, wasn't it? And she called, and people are screaming. She's like, "You're not going to believe what we just saw. You're not going to believe." And it was. I could not believe it when I saw it. Is there a 1A or is there a number 2? If you got rid of that one's easy, but is there another memory besides that one?
I don't know. There are so many.
Yeah. No, that's okay.
I would say it was state a couple years before that where we played against Ames, and it was just a really star-studded battle between two good teams, and that was just something that was memorable for sure.
Absolutely. Favorite gym to play in the MAC, and you cannot answer the Pit.
I would say probably Davenport Central.
Why is that?
It was just it got real loud, and if you had a good game in there, then they're gonna hear it, and everyone's gonna be talking about it.
Did you like playing on the road as much as you like playing at home? It's weird because I guess I was a wuss growing up and I didn't play in too many great environments, but the more guys I talk to that are good, like you, almost like playing on the road better than they play at home. Is that the way you're wired?
I would say sometimes in college, I mean, it's like that where you go somewhere and you know it's going to be a fun crowd and stuff like that. But I would say the Pit was always the best place to play. I mean, you would bring in fans from wherever they were coming from just because they know that it's going to be a tough game.
I would put the Pit in a small group with, like, in our area with Wharton Fieldhouse, with probably the Rock Garden as the best places to watch. And probably George Marshall Gym's up there as well, as the best places to watch high school basketball. All right. I can't read my own writing. So, better coach, better coach, Seamus or Coach Jake?
No comment. I mean, they both have done so much, and they're both great coaches. But I think Coach Jake has the edge with his most winningest coach in the Valley. I think that's the only thing.
Yeah,
but great guys.
I think
both great coaches.
Yeah, I think Seamus would be okay with that. I think he's probably watching this going like, yes, say Coach Jake. Do you have a favorite memory or story as Coach Buddy? He can get pretty fired up.
Oh, yeah, I actually do. And my friends talk about it all the time, but it was a sub-state final game, and we're playing against the Murray twins, I believe, at Liberty. And one of my teammates was messing around in the locker room at halftime, and it was probably like a 2-point game. We're up, and Coach Buddy spent the whole entire time just going at him, just laying it on him, like. And then he tries to get back into it. He tries to drop something on the board, and he's just like, you know what, like, and then goes right back into it. So I mean, we didn't talk about anything. We didn't make a single adjustment at that halftime because he was dealing with one of my friends messing around. But
please tell me you won the game.
We did win the game, and we went to state. Yep.
I'm gonna ask you this. You don't have to say it. You gonna say what the teammate's name was?
No.
You're a good friend.
He wasn't even like one of the players that played. So he was just. So he shouldn't have been messing around, but he was.
Do you have a Coach Buddy impression?
I don't think I do.
Okay,
I mean,
that's okay.
other than just yelling at me to play harder.
He did plenty of that, and you played hard, so that's a beautiful thing as well. All right, I know you're working out, and you got to like stay focused and all that kind of stuff. But if you're gonna pig out, if you're just gonna let it go for a day and just get after it, are you in the Quad Cities right now, or are you up in Cedar Falls?
I'm up in Cedar Falls.
Okay, I want to bring it back to the Quad Cities, just so people can relate a little better. Where do you have to like? Where's your weakness when it comes to like pigging out and going to eating a good meal and all that kind of stuff?
That's tough. I would say a couple places that I don't have up here. So like when there was Osaka there, or there was something like that. Or for fast food, it was probably like Cane's and now Dave's Hot Chicken. That's my spot when I go back home now. But yeah, those spots like that.
See, I call 53rd over there in Bettendorf, I call that Murderer's Row. Like, I got to stay away from there. You got Chick-fil-A, you got Cane's, you got Portillo's, you got, Who Hut. I'll go to Hawaiian Bros. I don't know if you've been to Hawaiian Brothers, but that place is really good. See, that's the difference, Tytan. You can do that stuff because you're young. I do this stuff and I'm just fat. So I gotta behave myself. If you weren't gonna play basketball, what other sport are you playing right now?
Football for sure.
You played, didn't you?
Yeah.
You're a wide receiver.
Yeah.
You pretty good.
I was all right.
All right, there you go. All right, last one for you. You can have dinner with anybody in the entire world, athlete, movie star, whatever. Who you having dinner with?
I'm having dinner with LeBron.
Okay. I got to ask you this. This is going to make me mad, Tytan. I'm going to MJ or LeBron?
LeBron.
All right. Well, that'll wrap things up. No, I'm just kidding. That's okay. I'm getting used to it. I know your era. I know your generation. I get it. I understand. You still have respect from MJ though, right?
Oh yeah. He's definitely,
okay.
I call them both GOATs just because they're different eras.
I like it. I have enjoyed the heck out of this. I appreciate you doing this. I know I joked about it earlier, but one of the guys I really appreciated covering throughout your North Scott career. Loved watching you at Northern Iowa. Best of luck. Stay healthy. Keep doing big things. And when you do big things, I'm going to be bugging you again. You got to come back and do this again sometime, okay?
Sounds good.
Absolutely. That's awesome. All right. Tytan Anderson, Northern Iowa great. And then former North Scott standout, we'll call him a Lancer great as well, joining us on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities. We got a lot more to get to. We'll be back right after this. When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with.
Quad Cities, it's time to bring the noise. Saturday night, April 12th, the Steamwheelers take on the Barnstormers in a hard-hitting Union Night showdown. We're honoring area Union members with a night of football action and ice-cold beers for only $1. Union members receive $5 off ticket thanks to Tri-City Building Trades Council and Union Locals 91, 25, and 145. Round up your crew and come cheer on the Wheelers. Get your tickets at steamwheelersfootball.com/tickets. And we'll see you on April 12th.
All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak, with all those delicious toppings. The biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo on a Tuesday here in the Quad Cities. It is April 1st. Some call it April Fools, but this man is no fool. See what I did? See how I put that in there? And look at that stash, Julian. I'm not going to bury the lead. Tell me about the stash.
So the stash is a period-appropriate facial piece, which, for the record, all right, let me go very early on the record as saying, I hate it. I hate it. My wife hates it. My kids hate it. The first time I walked out of our bedroom and, showed the kids, right, what I had done, because they hadn't seen me yet that day. I was like, wake up, cut all this off and then go out. Like, my daughter ran away from me. Leon, was hiding
Stranger
behind
danger.
the couch. Oh, it's so bad. I look in the mirror and I don't see myself. It's very strange. Plus, now you can very, very clearly see my double chin. So this is just, it's not flattering at all. But,
so
but it's necessary.
Why is it necessary?
It's necessary because this weekend and next weekend, we have Titanic the Musical at Spotlight Theater. Paula got me roped back into musical theater, 20 years off the stage since high school, roughly. I forget how old I am now. And she got headhunted to be the stage manager of this musical. They were some guys short after the auditions. She poked and prodded, and finally I was like, all right, fine, I'm in. And the schedule's a little hectic, I'm not gonna lie. But it's been a ton of fun. I really love the musical's great. I forget sometimes just how talented our community is, right? I was an all-state choir kid, and you kind of get roped into your own world sometimes. And it's like, okay, everybody in my generation, I know the people in my class that were really good. Every class has those people who are incredible, and all those really awesome theater kids wind up in our community doing our community theater stuff. So the vocals in this are outstanding. The music is unique. The characters are engaging. It came out before the movie Titanic, so it's actually more historically accurate. I play 3 different characters. One of them was an actual person. One of them is based on 2 actual people who were friends and had the same first name, and it's a weird story about that. And then I play a third-class passenger. Looked up pictures of all of them. Mustaches like this. So I didn't have a choice, right? I had to go with the mustache. But yeah, we're really looking forward to opening the show this weekend. It's going to be incredible.
I love this. I got so many questions right now. First and foremost, Paula didn't prod and poke you to do this. Didn't she just say, my wife would just say, you're doing this, and I'd say, all right, I'm doing this. How much convincing did it actually take? Or did Paula just say, hey, Julian, you're doing this, and you said, yes, honey, because happy wife, happy life?
I'll tell you what, I held out for a while. I didn't do the original auditions. Oz did the original auditions. And after the auditions it's a very male heavy cast, and I think there were 9 guys short. So she started asking, I was like, I really don't want to do it. Right. I've got football going on. I'm, with my work and everything. I just don't know what my schedule's going to be like. And it was probably 2 weeks. I think they were going to start rehearsals the next Monday or something like that. And it was Thursday, Friday of the week before. And she was like, we're still 2 guys short. And so I was like, all right, well, I can't leave you hanging. I'll do it.
So now you're the hero.
Basically, yes. I come in like America at the end of World War II and swoop in like the cavalry. And so I don't have major parts. Well, one of my characters is the major, so I have a major part. But I play multiple characters, which is fun, a couple of costume changes and whatnot. And I just get to be myself. Loud and boisterous and charismatic is one of them, and the other one's just loud. So I get to use my big voice, which is good. I don't get to cut loose a lot anymore.
So you went kicking and screaming into this, but you probably enjoyed the heck out of it. kind of talk about that? Because does this, I mean, is this the start of something now? I mean, do you have the itch again, if that's a thing?
I mean, probably, yeah. It's so basically what I'm trying to do is work out how can I make this work, because knowing, like, don't get me wrong, I love this show, right? I didn't know Titanic had a musical before this Broadway musical. It's absolutely fantastic, and it is like everybody. It's one of those things where you come into it knowing how the story's going to end. Right, nobody goes into the Titanic going, "Oh, I wonder if they're going to make it to America." Like, no, the boat sinks. We all know that. So it's how you present that, how you make the characters interesting. We have people in the cast who know the musical front to back, who have been rehearsing this thing for weeks, and they'll still like shed tears. Right, people are crying towards the end. Paul has been crying in the audience, like watching, because Oz is in it, and he's like one of the first people to die. So like she gets emotional, characters get emotional playing it. Like, it's so engrossing, and the way we're doing it is very immersive. It's not interactive, but it's very, very immersive, where like the audience is kind of part of the crew or part of the passengers in the ship and everything, and they're all it takes place around you. You're in it, you're part of it. So it's very cool from that respect. But I have basically kind of gone into this going, man, I came into it kicking and screaming. By the end of it, I'm absolutely in love with musical theater again. I'm absolutely in love with being on stage and doing the whole theater thing. But like, Spotlight's got a bunch of great productions coming up. They're doing The Play That Goes Wrong, which is one of my favorite modern plays. They're doing Young Frankenstein, right? They're doing these different shows that I would love to be in, but I also have to take a look at those and go, well, football season is here.
Yeah.
Right. And that's number one. I don't mess with football season. So I can't do some of these things because I know what summer workout times are going to be. I know when, what the game time is going to be. We're in tech week for this, which basically means this week we run the show every day front to back. We're hammering through all the lights and the sound and getting everything tidied up and ready to go. And man, it's a drain. And it's like, man, I could not do this and football at the same time. So I think it's probably going to be a once or twice a year deal. Pop into one or two of these musicals, probably get one in the spring, maybe one in the winter, depending on when auditions and when rehearsals are and everything. But it's definitely, I'm back to loving it.
That's
I missed
awesome.
it. I didn't realize how much I missed it until I got back on stage.
All right, last one for this, because you mentioned Oz a few times. How cool is that? I mean, not just to have Paula doing what she's doing, but you're on stage with your son, sharing a passion, a love together. Talk about that, because that's what life is all about, Julian. Those little things, those relationships, doing stuff with your kids. That's got to be cool.
It's incredible. I think that when you watch your kids grow up and they start to kind of figure out who they are and what they want to do and the things that they're good at, like, that's like, being a parent is fun. It's so much better when their passions start to emerge, and then you can find yourself immersed in that. Like, I don't know jack about basketball, right? Ellie has really taken to basketball. She loves it. So, we'll play her youth games. Then she wants to go to the Y, and we go to the Y and we shoot hoops. And I can't really give her like a lot of tips or anything, but but it's daddy-daughter time to spend at the at the Y on the court shooting ball. We go to musical rehearsal, and we get somebody to, somebody's watching the littles, or they're running around, and me and Oz can kind of, talk backstage. Our characters have a little tiny little bits of interaction, just kind of the way that that we move around the stage and the crew works. But to see him grow from somebody who was real kind of nervous about it at the beginning and awkward. It's like, it's his first, kind of professional-ish, theater production. I say first, technically it's his second. But to see him grow as an actor and get into this role and start to find ways to kind of ad lib and make his character come alive, and become a part of the crew and a part of the cast and everything. It's awesome to just witness some of that stuff. If you're not doing it with them, sometimes you miss that. So I'm having a lot of fun, from a personal perspective, but from that parenting side too. It's awesome.
No, that's awesome. Tell people the information about it, because I know it's this weekend, it's next weekend, Spotlight Theater. How do they get tickets? How do they just give us all the information we need to know?
Absolutely. So we've got 6 shows in total, Friday and Saturday. We have 7 p.m. shows this week and next week. And then Sundays are daytime shows. So that's I believe it's 2 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken, this Sunday and next Sunday. You can go to spotlighttheater.com, I think is the website. But Google Spotlight Theater, you'll get there. You can buy tickets online. I believe there's still tickets available. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else to make sure. It is child friendly. Like, there's no swearing or anything like that. It is very immersive, and it's the Titanic, so it gets kind of sad at the end. So just be prepared for that if you're emotionally invested. But for history buffs, I think this is one of the coolest things is like the attention to detail, the amount of time that the people who wrote this musical clearly put into making it as historically accurate as they could, from little things like music cues that are the same length of the time that the Titanic was in contact with the iceberg, like when that event happens, right? Individuals on the ship who were actually on the ship, and the details about them and their characters and their lives and the things that get built into it. Like, it's very, very cool in the aspect that you are stepping into this moment in time with all the detail that we know. And they changed, like, somebody who lives actually, dies, somebody who dies actually lives, like little things like that for dramatic effect, because it is still, it's a show, and there's certain things that they wanted to do thematically to make it more dramatic. But you learn a lot about these characters and it makes us as actors, we dive into our characters and the other characters, and we've learned so much about the Astor family and the Strauss family and the crew, the different officers on staff and their history, and the people who were actually on the Titanic, and the effect that it had. I mean, you think if you took half the Fortune 100 like CEOs from today and you stuck them all on a plane and crashed it into the ocean, the effect that has, like, economically on a global scale. That was this event. Most of the richest people in the world were on this boat, and women and children in the boats first, right? So all these dudes who were running these major corporations and were, among the richest, wealthiest, most influential people on the planet went down with the ship, and it had some major repercussions. And so we kind of, we've had a chance to dive into that as the cast, but you get to witness it with song and dance, which makes it a little bit more fun.
I love it. Go check it out. I'm intrigued. Baseball season is in full swing, but man, I'd love to see Julian on stage. So we'll see if I can maybe sneak away on a Sunday and check it out. You mentioned coaching. Hey, by the way, does the mustache go away then, like, next Monday morning or next Sunday night? Like, is it right away?
Yeah, I mean, we'll have that like afternoon show on Sunday, and I will get home after the cast party and this thing will disappear. It's so just, here's the unnerving thing. I have a friend who I went to high school with who has had this exact facial hair for a couple of years now. And we look eerily similar when I have the same facial hair. And I did not realize that until I did this. So every time I look in the mirror, I'm looking at me and I'm not recognizing me. I see him first. And then I have to kind of like process like this is me. So it's very unsettling for me. I can't wait to get rid of it.
I love it. I love it. I think you look, how do you say this nicely? I think you look pleasantly creepy. Is that a way to say something? Pleasantly creepy?
That's good.
I guess that's the nicest
in costume. I've been told, because Paula hates it too, but she says when you're in costume on stage, like it works. It's perfect for the time
you
period.
went from not wanting to do it to now like going all in. I love it. See, that's the more brownie points that you should be getting from Paula. So you're just stacking now, because you're a dude. You're gonna mess up probably soon on something, so you're getting that equity that God knows we need as husbands in this world. You mentioned coaching. I know it's a thing you're loving right now. You're at Davenport Central coaching on a fantastic staff. You had a coach's clinic this weekend. Kind of talk about that, because up in Iowa City, and probably great to be back around the game and be back around similar thinking people. Kind of just talk about the coaching clinic up in Iowa City that you went to this weekend.
Yeah, so we went to the Iowa Coaches Clinic. Took most of our staff up there. And first of all, I'll take any opportunity to get back to Iowa City, right? The place still feels like home. I walk into the complex. It's a breath of fresh air every time. And to your point, like the mentality of the people in that building, right? That combination of like dedication and family, and connectedness that you have when you're there, right? Kirk still, comes up, hey, how are the kids doing? How's the wife? They're this age, and this age now, right? It's like, yeah, then, like, impressive that you know that. I have a hard time with my kids
right.
sometimes. But that sort of, the atmosphere that you have in terms of, it's a brotherhood and we're all family and everything. But then also the attention to detail and the dedication and the focus that it takes to build a consistently winning football program. There's a different sort of mentality there, and it is very good to get around those people, I think, from time to time. And we got to talk with Tim Lester, got to spend some more time with him, which I've had the opportunity to do a couple of times over the last year, which has been great. It's always fun to hear Phil talk, because he is truly a mastermind. To talk to Coach Barnett and see kind of the change in him. I think that was the thing that was coolest for me was when we came last year, they described Tim Lester as a rolling ball of butcher knives. That was the term that was used about him. I was like, this is really cool. And, he's bringing in a completely new system, and there's new terminology, there's new, plays, new motions, new different things that go on with the Shanahan system. And so we were, and I'd met Coach Barnett a couple of times, but I think that you always kind of start to take on the personality a little bit of the people that you're around the most, right? There's a little bit of give and take there. And Coach Barnett seems more like fired up and energized and pumped and focused. And he's starting to get between the things that Lester's doing and the influence that Kirk has. Like, you can tell that, like, from an offensive line perspective, like, things are really starting to come together and starting to click, which for me obviously is very, very cool. And man, some of the seniors that we got coming back are just earth movers, which is fun to watch and practice. But it's always a good time to get around the Iowa staff and hear Kirk talk and hear the coaches talk, and get a little bit of insight into the program while also learning something that we can bring back for our program. It's a learning weekend and one that I cherish every year.
So you go up there, and I don't want to make you feel bad, but you're not young anymore. And to still have so many, but to have so many familiar faces that are still there, especially Kirk.
It's incredible.
In today's day and age of college sports, not just college football, but college sports, how cool is that you can go up there and, I was talking to some former Iowa basketball players who now need to get to know a new head coach because Fran was there for 15 years. So the Nicholas Bears and the Mike Gazelles and those guys that used to just seeing familiar faces there, it'll be different. You guys haven't had to do, yes, people have come and gone and all that kind of stuff, but for the most part, it's familiarity, which is cool. Now that, has it been 15 years since you left the University of Iowa, 2010, and it's 2025, so it'll be the 15th year?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think that's right.
That's wild.
Your math is somewhere in that neck of the woods.
And here's the thing, he wasn't new when you got there. It's not like he was, he had already been there for a while. It's cool to see in college sports.
Yeah, and I think the continuity is one of the things that builds the strength of the Iowa program. In a day and age when everyone's trying to, chase the next best thing and cut loose and, not just, it used to be just administration, right? Like, oh, you get 3 years to win the conference or we fire you and we find somebody else to do it. And in the modern day where players want to jump into the portal at the first opportunity that they can and, and try and chase the almighty dollar here, there, or wherever, like to have that level of stability in a program and in a staff and in a direction, right? Because the biggest thing I think is culture. New coach comes in and generally speaking, you get a new head guy, everything changes.
Yeah.
Right. New head coach brings in a whole new staff, brings in a whole new culture. You're starting from square one with new schemes, new ideas, and new catchphrases, new T-shirts, and all this different stuff that people try to do from the mental side of the game and the inspirational side of the game. And the messaging is so consistent with Kirk, and the culture is so consistent that everybody else who comes in, like, yeah, assistant coaches change, or a coach changes from offense to defense or special teams, or they change positions or whatever. Okay, it's still the same message and still the same culture and still the same detail and still the same, level of effort and execution and excellence that is, that is mandated from the top down. And so it creates, I don't want to say a comfort, because it's not a comfort. You're never really comfortable there, right? They're constantly trying to push you out of your comfort zone, which is what you have to do to grow. But at the same time, that sort of familiarity with what the expectation is, I think that's the biggest thing, right? The message, the communication, what you're expected to do is the same year in and year out, and it is designed to make you a better football player and a better person. And I think that's the thing that Kirk does better than anybody else. And we've been very lucky to have him. And I do hope that when he eventually someday decides to hang it up and call it a coaching career, that, we do look in-house, because I think that the maintenance of that culture, even if it shifts a little bit with a new head guy, to have it come from the same place, from that same cultural tree, I think is going to be really important for the continuity of the program.
This is a little off topic, but kind of similar. Do you know Matt Drinkle? Have you? I've
interacted with him.
Okay.
I know him best through our head coach, because Alex Berg, our head coach at Central right now, is like a devotee, right? He played under him when Drinkle was at Ambrose.
Okay.
We run a version of his Kansas Wesleyan offense. We follow him very closely, and obviously he's a Bettendorf guy, he's an Iowa guy,
Yeah, I had him on the show last week, 2 weeks ago.
Saw that.
Man, I can't say enough good things about that guy. And it's the same thing you were just talking about, culture and fit, and like putting that into a system and all those kind of things. He's a rock star. I'm a Central Michigan fan right now. And in fact, I've already looked to kind of figure out a way to, we go up to Detroit every year for a Lions game. And I'm like, maybe we go up on Saturday, check out a Central Michigan game, because like Rusty Van Wetzinga's up there. Derek Fulton, who's the Assumption quarterback from like 15 years ago, but he's there as their OC. There's just a bunch of Quad City. Dylan Doyle's up there as an assistant coach. So I'm like, maybe we do that and then swing down to Detroit. But anyways, a little off topic, but I knew you probably knew. I didn't know that Berg was a disciple, if you will, of that's a good thing. I knew I liked Berg for some reason, and that's another reason why. Let's stay with college football, because you love football, and Julian, let's be honest, we love football, we love food, right? Okay, so Coastal Carolina announces yesterday that they are giving free concessions at all home games this year. So I'll read it real fast. Coastal Carolina introduced a groundbreaking initiative for the 2025 football season, offering free concessions at all home games. Fans can enjoy unlimited visits to the concession stand, selecting up to 4 items per visit, including hot dogs, nachos, popcorn, and drinks. The move is seen as an innovative strategy to increase the attendance and enhance the fan engagement, sparking discussions online about a potential impact on the game day experiences and its possible adoption by other institutions. Julian, come on now. Like, free food at a football game? Sign me up, right?
My first thought is, what time of day did they release that? Because I'm like, well, if they did it over whatever the international date line is for April 1st, maybe it's an April Fool's Day thing, because it seems absurd. But then, I mean, listening to it, how long are you willing to stand in line for, concessions if everybody's rushing to the concession stand? Like, I don't think they're, if the idea is we want to bring more people into the stadium, 100%, right? Me and the boys are going, and we're going to figure out, like, how much can we eat in a game, right?
Yes.
You're going to spawn challenges, and people are going to come in and and try and out eat each other and all this different stuff. I think it's a brilliant move from that perspective. Would I love to see it adopted other places? Sure. I don't know. Free food's free food, and that's my religion. So I could certainly get behind it. I would go to a game for that. Let's say that. I would 100% go to a Coastal Carolina game for that.
Have you ever gone to a rooftop at Wrigley Field?
No.
Okay, so it reminds me of that, where like you're going to pay for a ticket, and we've done it at Busch Stadium too with the Cardinals, where like you pay for your ticket, but you got a suite and it's food included and all that kind of beer and food and all that kind of stuff. I doubt beer is included in this, but I would always go into those going, okay, I paid this much for my ticket. I'm going to get this. I would be doing math the whole time. Say like, I'd be like, okay, the nachos are probably $7. The popcorn's probably $5. I had 4 of those, 3 of these, a couple hot dogs. I made money today because I ate more than what my ticket costs. But I do think if there's a struggle getting people into the stands, and then if you get them there, you maybe tweak it the next year. Although you take it away, you can't give people something taken away. Like, I know it's for the 2025 season too, but like in 2026, if you go back to charging $10 a pop, they're going to get cranky and go away. So there's a slippery slope there too. So,
well, I mean, we've been to a number of buffets in the past, you and I, right?
Yes. Too many. But go
I
ahead.
mean, the difference there is there's a football game on. So it's just, you're going to an all you can eat buffet, which make money, right? They survive somehow. And there's a football game, so you're going to buy merch. If you're not, I think you're right. If beer's not included in this, you got to wash down all those popcorns and hot dogs and nachos and stuff. Like, nachos can be spicy, man. I need something to cool me off. Nothing better than a nice cool beverage to do that. Like, they're going to make their money, I think, on this, or at least break even on the food and beer side of it, beverages. And then you've got the people in the game, so you're making more off of ticket sales. So maybe they don't make as much off of food, but I'll tell you what, you build a happy fan base that's filling the stands. And they have the obnoxiously colored field too, don't they? Do they have like the
teal.
turquoise field or whatever?
Yeah, it's like turquoise.
Ugh, yeah, you got to drink if you're gonna watch football on that thing. So for them, hey, you know what? Let's see how it goes. I'm for it. Absolutely.
We are talking food again, of course, with Julian, and I'm hungry. I'm doing this intermittent fasting thing, Julian, and it's working.
Oh, it's terrible.
I'm feeling good, but like I get towards the end of the show, I get so hungry. Like we'll play the commercial breaks, and I'll see Hobo, and I'll see Godfathers, and I'll see Snoops, and I'm like, give me food. So, anyways, it's a good time to talk about it. Every time you come on, you have like a hidden gem. Do you have a hidden gem here around the Quad Cities that people should go try out when it comes to good cuisine? It can be, whatever ethnic, whatever food genre you want to go to. Give me something to go try maybe this weekend.
Sure. So I wouldn't call this a hidden gem because they've been around for a while. But I've wanted to plug them publicly for quite some time. And social media is one thing, sure, but I think your podcast clearly is far more influential than anything I could do.
It's huge
in terms of social media impact, and will only continue to grow. So years from now, when people go back to the original episodes of Off the Air with Matt Randazzo for the vintage aspect of it, they will hear that I personally, like my wife and I, will make regular routine runs to Zeke's Island Cafe.
Yes.
I'm a big like locally owned guy. I got real offended when Hawaiian Bros moved in because I think that's a chain. I didn't know, but I think it was just based on where it is.
Yeah.
And I was like, we don't need this. We've already got Zeke's, which in my opinion has more flavor anyway. I hope that's not something that gets you sued or demonetized.
No,
or
you're good.
But no, we've been going to Zeke's since the place first opened.
We've gone.
The group locations. We've gone before.
Yeah.
They got a couple locations now. I live like a 5-minute walk or something like that from the Duck Creek location over here.
Yeah.
So that's an easy lunch for me to grab. But island food, right? They do the Pacific and the Atlantic. I personally, you've got like the Pacific Island stuff, which is like your huli chicken and pulled pork and whatnot. They've also got like jerk chicken and stuff from the Jamaican side. I stay away from anything regarding the Atlantic Ocean right now in protest due to the Titanic.
Makes
but
sense.
The Pacific Island stuff, like my wife's a big huli chicken fan. They recently started doing I forget what it's called, but it's some sort of like steak, like a beef option. And I had three of the tacos of that kind, and I mean, flavor out the wazoo. The sriracha mayo and the sauce. I love the egg rolls that they have there. Not regular egg rolls, right? It's got like a red cabbage egg roll, which I love, and they have like a red cabbage slaw that I'll put on the plate. See, I'm getting hungry about it now too.
You're getting fired up.
I'm starting to get heated, man. You can tell like this is a passionate about food, and this is a big one for me. But I'll usually do like aloha platter and stuff. Anyway, I'll tell everybody the whole menu. That's not the point. Point is, right, you want fresh burst of flavor, something that to our area doesn't feel like it's the same old. It's not fried, greasy, whatever, right? It's good food, and it makes you feel good, and you walk in and the atmosphere has got this island vibe to it, and the whole thing is just is a food experience that I enjoy and fully endorse, and it's locally owned. So Zeke's Island Cafe is my
Where are they at now? There's still one down in downtown Davenport, right? And then one by TBK.
Yep, one down in downtown Davenport, one up by TBK, and then the one over here on Duck Creek next to the what is this thing we have now here? Malibu Jacks. It's right over by Malibu Jacks.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Near the bridge, near the I-74 bridge.
I go way back into the day where there used to be one right by Central. Didn't the original location by Central High School?
Top of the hill.
Yes.
Yep, right up top of the hill.
Yeah.
And then they started like a little Cuban taco joint across the street with the same owner that was really, really good, but it didn't last, which is unfortunate. But yeah, that was the original location, and now there's 3 of them throughout the Quad Cities, which you love to see that kind of growth and stability in a local restaurant.
So I love Zeke's. I will say you'll get mad at me, but like I do like Hawaiian Bros. I do.
Listen, I'm not saying they're
national,
bad, right?
But
it's fine. You can, and some things, things that are national, obviously they're national for a reason.
Yeah.
Right? You don't start with one and then branch out if you're bad. I just prefer Zeke's as a preference for me. I think
agree.
it's more flavorful.
Yeah.
I like the menu better.
No, I completely agree. And my wife and I have gone to Zeke's several times recently. Let's go to Zeke's next week.
Heck yeah.
Because that's halfway healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, it's not greasy, fried. I was going to go to Portillo's with Mike Gazelle this week, and we haven't gone to lunch. And honestly, I haven't texted him back. Mikey, if you're watching, I'm sorry. But like I haven't like set it up because I don't want to go to Portillo's because I've been eating healthy and I've been doing good. And I'm like, I don't want to go down that road because it's a slippery slope. You start going, and then next thing you know, you're just before I let you go, it is April Fool's. I used to love April Fool's. I mentioned yesterday on the show and today that like I used to get my dad every single year. I mean, every year. My brother and sister would be like, they call him in the morning and be like, hey, remember, Matt's an asshole and he's going to call you and try to screw with you today. And he'd be like, yeah. And sure, I get him like, Dad, my car broke down, or, I got a ticket or whatever. And every year I got him. So I enjoy it. My kid this morning, my 8-year-old thought he was so great. He took a sandwich cookie and he took like the frosting out, and then he went and put toothpaste in the middle, and he gave it to Jen to eat. And he got her. I mean, she probably knew it was coming. She didn't know it was toothpaste. I mean, I think she played along pretty well. But are you an April Fool's guy? Do you think it's? I hate social media today because I don't know what to believe and what not. Like if somebody committed to the University of Iowa, if Josh Dix commits anywhere today, or Price Sanford, I don't know if I believe it or not. So your thoughts on April Fool's?
I hate it. I think it's the worst day of the year. I think we should we should take April 1st away from April and stick it on February so that February has an appropriate number of days.
Wow.
I can't stand it for the same reason, right? Like, social media, just don't even bother, right? Stay off of it. Who cares? Doesn't matter. Anything that's posted, for all you know, not that that's better than any other day, but anything on social media is probably a joke, probably a prank. Conversations with people, right? Can't trust anybody.
Yeah.
Your closest, your children. For the love of God, Matt, you can't trust your children. When has your own child ever lied to you, right?
Yeah.
Never happens. And all of a sudden, you can't trust the thing that they say. No, I despise April Fool's Day, and I'm so bad at it. Like I don't know if I've ever fooled anyone. So I don't participate in it.
Yeah.
And the idea of being fooled is just constantly so prevalent in my mind that like today I'm paranoid beyond belief. I'm like
Yeah.
some doomsday prepper, with my anxiety on April Fool's Day. So I'm going to limit my interactions with other people today to the bare minimum, which might, for all I know, just be you. Matt.
Just be
So,
this. This is beautiful.
I'm just hoping that this isn't an April Fool's joke and we're recording this whole thing and at the end you're going to be like, haha, I didn't press record. Like,
Two
I'm
things.
So paranoid.
One back in the day, like I would just mess with my dad in general. So I remember there was like, it was in June or something. And my brother and some of his friends always went down to Missouri to get fireworks because they wanted better fireworks for 4th of July. And so we left, we went with them. And on the way back, I decided to call my dad and tell him that we just got pulled over in Iowa and that we're being arrested for the illegal fireworks. And like, I couldn't even tell him that I was just messing around. The phone, he just put the phone down and ran down the stairs to get in the car. So finally my mom picked up and she's like, what's going on? I'm like, you got to stop dad. You got to stop dad. Like, I'm just screwing around. It's not true. And he was in the car going down the street before my mom could finally flag him down. And yeah, he wasn't. And I said to him, well, Dad, it's kind of like April Fool's. And he's like, it's June, little boy. It has nothing to do with April. So I guess I can blame April Fool's for one day. I'm just a jerk all the time, I guess, is the problem. And then one year, I mentioned it yesterday, Dan Burrich at the station wrote an entire 6 p.m. newscast of all made up stories. I think Kerry Wood had surgery again. The Bears traded somebody. And then at the end, they came out to the 3-shot and he goes, by the way, everything I just told you, April Fool's, none of it's true. And he got back in the newsroom and like the phones were ringing. This was before like social media and stuff, but people quit watching and they went to like the internet to find out what was going on. And we had so many complaint emails and phone calls about that. So he didn't do that anymore. So yeah, it's a weird day, but it's a good day. So, but it's always a good day to be hanging with you, Julian. I appreciate this. I love it when you come on. Pub it one more time. Titanic this weekend, Spotlight Theater. Be there, right?
Yes, Titanic the musical, an immersive historical experience. Spotlight Theater, Friday, Saturday, 7 p.m., Sunday, 2 p.m. I'm like 90% sure that that's right. Anyway, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, this weekend and next weekend, Titanic the musical, Spotlight Theater. Come see me and my stash and experience the life of real people on the Titanic as you never have before. It's going to be a heck of a time. Song, dance, community theater, the whole 9 yards, and we will truly immerse you in the world of the early 1900s. So please come on down. We'd love to see you.
I love it. Go check that out. You, me, Kakert, Zeke's next week. Tommy needs a break in life. And Gazelle.
Get Mike in on
we'll
it too.
put Mikey in too. There you go. Killing two birds with one stone. I love it. I love it. All right, Julian, be good. Best of luck. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, my friend. We'll see you around.
All right. That is Julian Vandervelde. Get out and see that. I'm so intrigued. I have so much youth baseball on the weekends, but I got to figure out a way to go check that out because I think it's cool to see not just Julian, but Oz. And, of course, it's a whole family production with Paula doing what she's doing. So very, very cool. Go check out Titanic at the Spotlight Theater this weekend or the following weekend as well. We got one more break to get to. We'll wrap things up on a busy Tuesday edition of Off the Air with Matt Randazzo right after this.
Quad Cities, it's time to bring the noise. Saturday night, April 12th, the Steamwheelers take on the Barnstormers in a hard-hitting Union Night showdown. We're honoring area Union members with a night of football action and ice-cold beers for only $1. Union members receive $5 off ticket thanks to Tri-City Building Trades Council and Union Locals 91, 25, and 145. Round up your crew and come cheer on the Wheelers. Get your tickets at steamwheelersfootball.com/tickets. And we'll see you on April 12th.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities. Tuesday, April 1st. It is April Fool's. Hopefully you are behaving yourself today, I guess is the best way to look at it. I love April Fools. I know Julian doesn't love it. I don't like social media. I get that. And when I was working back in my old job, I'd hate it today because I'd see something, think it was true, and then realize it wasn't and all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, happy April Fools to everyone out there. Thank you guys so much for watching right now. If you're on YouTube, we appreciate that. If you're watching on X, thank you as well. It's been a fun show. We started things off with Kent McCausland, former Iowa Hawkeye, the president of the National Eye Club right now, and great perspective, not just on Ben McCullum and Iowa basketball moving forward, but the NIL era and what it would have been like for those guys back in the day. The guys like Jess Settles himself. Who else was on that team? J.R. Koch. I mentioned Andre Woolridge, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, a special group of Hawkeyes back then. So, really cool to catch up with Kent McCausland. Also, really fun to chat with Tytan Anderson. Northcott, great. He leaves Northern Iowa, I think, 8th all-time in scoring, 4th in rebounding. Super impressive career, and he's not done yet. He's going to work hard. He's going to get opportunities in the professional level as well, and excited to see how good he does next week as well. Or next year, I should say, as well. And then, of course, Julian Vandervelde. Go check out Julian in Titanic at the Spotlight Theater this weekend or next weekend. Oz is in it, his son, his wife, part of the production as well. So make sure you guys go check that out. Cool to talk to Julian about. How about the Coastal Carolina giving out free food, free concessions at football games this coming season? I can only imagine. So if you missed yesterday's show, go check that one out as well. Cooper Koch was on that show with us. Also Darian Porter, and Pat Anger, of course, on a Monday here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. So go check out yesterday's show. If you missed some of today's, go check that out. Tomorrow is Wheelers Wednesday on the show. So we'll be chatting Steam Wheeler football because they are 2-0 on the season with a trip, I believe, to Des Moines coming up this weekend before that home game next week. So we'll do some Wheelers and a bunch of other stuff as well. Dave Heller on Thursday. Who else am I trying to track down this week? Always working. Always trying to get some stuff done. A reminder, no show on Friday. Keep on the channel, keep checking out the shows from the week, but no show this Friday. Giving myself a 3-day weekend. I got some stuff on Friday I got to get done. So we'll be back at it again on Monday as well. But we'll be back tomorrow with another great show, and looking forward to continuing the nice momentum we have here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. So I want to thank you guys for watching today. If you missed any of the other shows, go check them out as well. And of course, we'll be back here tomorrow with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo.